Going, 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 going live.
A big hello to you. Welcome back to the Monday Club. Of course,
If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
It's much worse in real life.
I put on a special version just for you.
yeah, now go on, hop it, jog on.
Bye bye.
Big hello to everybody. Welcome back to the Monday Club. It's Monday night. It's 7 o'clock British summertime, and that can only mean one thing: that you've got nothing better to do. But
You've
no,
got
it is the
nothing better to
Monday
do.
Club. And today I am joined here at Weir Yard with a special guest, Iron Horse Railways, aka Craig.
Hello, I'm back. Yes,
He is back, and he brought
Guess who's
donut.
back again.
Okay, you know,
Thanks for that. Yeah, bye.
I'm
Hi.
afraid that the cupboard monkey is a little bit like a fart in an elevator. They just linger a bit longer than you really want. So anyway, Monday night, a great big hello to Leslie Gilpin Railways, Malcolm Moore, Ollie's Trains Gaming, Richard Swiderski, Peter Jackson, Edward Vincent Briones, Harry Sedgwick, Flymo Chairman 1, Alan Pollock, Alex Dent, H. Walker Steam and Heritage Rail Vids, David Scott, Zach Farmworth, Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase, Josh's Railway Adventures, Shanghai 264359, Gordon Hanning, David It's My Model Railway, Tim's Model Railway in different videos, Harry Sedgwick, Elson the 070 Ginty, Flying Scotsman 4472, Warbler Productions, Ridgeway Park 00, Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, Dundee Road, big hello to you, great to see you, Little Wicket Railway, Train Lover 16, Becky Grierson, Will Tucker, Ian Coulson, Ollie Trains Gaming, Vobert Becking, Gone Loco, Flint Hills Model Railway, Jeff Hammond, Martin Halstead, Jerry BVR, South Line, Southern Line, Egg Rider. Wow, we have got a lot of people here in the chat commenting, and of course an awful lot of people lurking as well. Don't forget to tickle that like button and share the stream to social media. Let other people know that we are on, and if you've got nothing better to do, you are obviously very, very welcome. So,
A veritable who's who of board people.
absolutely. And in the news, I will get the news out of the way before I forget. Depot have announced that their manners are imminent, I believe sometime this month or next month. So we're looking at quite a variety of the 78XX manners, and I'm really interested to see these, certainly after having seen what they did for the D class for rails. Really looking forward to these, and also the D1 class. I spotted, I don't know whether it's an error on the listing, but the Southeastern and Chatham Railway Austerity Grey D1 is listed as forthcoming in the next month or so, and I don't know. I suspect it might be an error because they haven't listed any of the others. We've also got the O-Gauge Ginty is putting in a reappearance with a whole slew of different liveries. We've also had today a special announcement from Accurascale. You may have seen that they are tackling the Mark 1 Suburban coach and bringing that right slap bang up to date, and it's going to include some amazing features, including the roof that is held on using tiny magnets, and this is the same method that they used to great effect for the DCC fitting for their Metrovic A class from Irish Model Railways, and I believe that it's the same method that the Class 55 Deltic will be using. The Deltic, of course, is pretty much here. They're starting to dispatch orders, so really excited about that. Do you know of any other news?
I don't.
You don't? Have I covered everything?
I think you have. For once, yes, you have. It's all been done very efficiently.
Done very quick and very... And
Absolutely.
Do you know why? It's because the cupboard monkey's not up here.
Oh, you can't blame her.
I can.
Well, yeah, because she's not here. That's why.
Yeah, I can blame her, because it's specifically because she's not here. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says all the freight trains need Billy's replacement brake vans, since Jenny has nicked them for a long brake van train. Yeah, somebody asked last week about a super long brake van train. So they're not all my brake vans. I believe I've got about 72. But we count... Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm curious to see whether anybody can actually count them and get the number correct. How many brake vans are in that train? Well, it certainly needed 3 Class 25s to pull that load. I did try 2, but they were skidding a bit. So they're going to have very shiny wheels, man.
Nice polished track for you there.
Yeah. And then you're the first person to bring a Jenny Monday Club back.
Yes, you're all letting them down.
Yeah, empty to wear yard, they say on the side. Well, the first one has made it home. So there you go. That's your Monday Club wagon that you've done a custom weathering job on.
I have done a custom weathering job. Where are we?
Which you were showing. That was the wagon you were showing people on, wasn't it?
It was, but I've
redone it.
Where am I going, Jenny?
That one down there.
Oh,
so basically, people have had a lovely view of your armpit.
Well, it's a lovely thing to view.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you are. So there's a Monday Club wagon, all weathered up. So
inside as well.
It has returned empty to wear yard. Really impressed with that. So first one to make it back here. Flying Scotsman 4472 says, Jenny, have you bought a Tor Valley in purple? I have not, I have to say, but you may have noticed that I did the video for a little bit of Platinum Jubilee fun that doesn't break the bank. I used the Tramfabrique Jubilee manhole covers. So that is my little Jubilee-ness on on wear yard. Mark Wilson, evening me duck. Sarah Davis says, where's the cupboard monkey tonight? The cupboard monkey's downstairs. We don't want to crowd us out. Flint Hills Model Railway, Jeff Hammond says, is that the O-gauge armpit?
It is the O-gauge armpit.
The O-gauge armpit.
It's actually O-gauge fine scale.
Paul Murphy says, I won €150 on the golf yesterday. Ooh, I bet that's getting spent on trains. And talking of that as well, you may have seen on the... Oh yeah, that was the other bit of news. Thank you, Mark Wilson. Peco is reintroducing TT gauge. Boom! Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise actually. Got no advance notice of that. And my contact at Peco was very quiet on that one. He didn't let me in on that.
Very small. Very small.
What is very
TT?
Well, it's 3mm to the foot, so it is slap bang in the middle between double.
I thought it was smaller than Z gauge. I'm thinking of Z gauge.
You're thinking of T gauge.
T gauge, that's the one. Yeah.
No, this is TT. It stands for tabletop.
Not Taurus Trophy.
No, it was actually TT stood for tabletop. Well, technically, I guess it still does. But it was something that was introduced by, I think it was Triang back in the 60s. And the thing was that N-Gauge came along fairly quickly afterwards and kind of had all of the benefits without the downsides. Because TT, smaller than 00, which meant you could get more in the same area. But N-Gauge went, well, here, hold my beer. But it's always had a good following, so they're revamping a TT range. Although the 3mm gauge track was always in the Peco range. It was always there. But they are also revamping the concrete sleeper track, and they have shared with us some of the pictures from the mouldings of those with the Dowmac concrete sleepers. And actually it looks really good.
Grada says, is it 55 brake cans? Thinking vans.
Brake vans. No. That is an incorrect number, and sadly you're not really close either.
No.
Hydra Vladimir says, now that I see it is triple diesel power in front of it, it's even funnier. Some brakes are on. Good luck finding which ones. Yeah, just wait until it goes dark and see which ones have glowing wheel rims. Bletchton High Level says, evening all, just recovering from the weekend at Severn Valley Railway. Blooming marvellous, that Elizabeth II loco. Absolutely. When it was announced, a lot of people were like, oh, I don't like that. Oh, that's actually. But actually,
the giant purple pink thing.
Yeah. But actually, it's quite. People. Were you one of the moaners?
I was. I moaned.
Did
As
you?
my right as an Englishman, I moaned.
Yeah, did you? Oh, makes you proud
I
to
will
be
say this
British.
though, GBRF have, I mean, it's a bit modern for you, but they've just done,
66.
I think the 66 actually, the more I see it actually doesn't look too bad.
66 kind of works.
Yeah, it's mostly white with a little bit of pink purple on it.
Yeah.
And I think that works a little bit better.
Simon Trent's Model Railway Showcase says Securuscale also doing those Mark 1 non-gangway coaches. Yeah, we mentioned those before, the Mark 1 Suburbans. They look really, really good. And these are basically taking on the old Bachmann model. One of the earliest Bachmann models, coaching models, was the Mark 1 Suburban, long overdue for a revamp. I've actually got 4 of them in my collection, and I feel a bit aggrieved that I spent ages tracking down the blue ones, and now they've been completely superseded. Although I think I only paid a tenner a piece for them, so it didn't cost too much.
Not too bad.
Right. So who here has ordered with great excitement their Acura Scale Class 55? Oh, Warbler Production says, I've counted 63 brake vans. May have missed one though. Well, you are certainly the closest. Yeah, it's good, but it's not right. But you're very close.
I've forgotten how many that's
Peter Jackson says 66. Ian Coulson appears to be the first person to guess correctly, 64. And Richard Swiderski shortly thereafter, 64 brake vans. Yeah, there are 64 brake vans on that train. It was quite a rake. I think I've got 72 brake vans in my collection, but I put together that rake quite quickly. So yeah, there's quite a hodgepodge in there as well of all eras.
They're all unique as well. There's no duplicates.
Yeah, there's no duplicates as well.
They're all, slightly different.
Ian Parker asks, please make the writing larger so I can read the group chat.
There we go.
Ooh, didn't want that to happen. Hold on, let me go and press the magic reset button.
You go press your button. Boom, boom.
There we go.
What was it?
I think it was the
Computer status report. What's it saying?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dave. I can't do that.
Oh yeah, well. Was it HAL? How was it? HAL 9000?
Yeah, HAL 9000.
Yeah, HAL 9000.
Oh, it's the Duchess of Atholl. Just there's a point over there, and it's making a point of being annoying. So if I give it a little bit more beans.
My Vitrain 37 does that sometimes. It just catches it.
Yeah.
Just every now and again, it just catches
It's one of the reasons why Insel frog points are useless on DCC.
Yeah.
And if I'd have known that, I'd have gone all live frog points, but I didn't. So there we go. I like that. Nigel Cole says there's 63 brake vans and that one. Right. Hereford Model Centre made me spend lots of money last week. Not going in there again, says Ian White. Was that before or after I posted the bargains? Oh, come here, you. Look at that.
Oh, it's all gone horribly wrong.
It's all gone a bit.
Oh,
no! You! Oh, it just demolished a speed sign. Oh, we have calamity!
What happened to that Gronk? Was it a Gronk that took it out? What was it?
Yeah, the Gronk just took it out. It just went for it. Right, look, I need to get round there because there's a brake van happily running down the sleeve. And talk to the nice people, will you?
Unfortunately, there seems to have been a comedy of errors. I think is the only way to describe that, and it happened. To be fair with you,
There's been
a lot later than I predicted, but it did still happen.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a cock up here. Look, talk to the nice people.
It's all gone very wrong.
Yeah, say hello. Hello, Mum.
I don't think my mum watches this, thankfully. I think she could quite live up to the fact that I'm as into trains as I am, but there we are.
Look at that. It's having another go, this thing.
It's that pony shook on the front. Look at that. It's not happy. Look at it.
It's because what's happened is it's run into the DCC ABC shuttle area, and then when it tripped out, it forgot which direction it was going, and it decided it would leave the section in the same direction that it entered, which is exactly what the Class 8 did as well. They both decided to be
Our
just
our MDV vans will also come off as well. I don't know if you knew that.
MDV.
Jenny wagons.
Oh, I have that. Oh,
I don't know where the train's gone for them. Is it round there somewhere?
it's all right. It'll pick them back up when it comes back round. Here it comes now. So yeah, you'll see that. Just where are we? They're just
completely unscripted.
They're just there. Oh no, my finger keeps disappearing out the side. So it should just pick them up. Right.
Oh, dear me. It wouldn't be one to cover that catastrophe.
Oh, it's always a catastrophe here. Hello to Skipsy Trains. Great to see you. And yeah, Paul Murphy. It is Calamity Jenny. Absolutely. Simon Trains Mother Row Showcase. Hand of God has struck down on vengeance on Weir. Absolutely. And Flint Hills Mother Rower Jeff Hammond says, never seen Jenny move so fast.
She was quite rapid.
Yeah, you haven't seen me when they go, the buffet's ready. Oh, yes.
Oh, no.
Hey, what are you... Oh, you.
What happened to the going?
Oh, that's got a big...
Stay alive, innit? Has that got the Buddha one?
That is interesting, because I can't obviously see...
It'll be a brake van, will it? It's come off.
I don't know.
Oh no, it must have been a momentary thing because everything's moving again.
Yes, so...
Your shutter's working alright.
Yeah, because I gave it a push. Quick push. Make sure it wasn't in section when it restarted. I think it might be something to do with where the DMU's going.
The layout gremlins are well and truly with us this evening, it would seem.
So I'm going to change a route. And that might fix it. Jerry BVR says, I'm beginning to think that beep 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 is Jenny's new theme tune.
Oh, that's low.
And Flymo Chairman 1 says, women and children first for the buffet. Oh, I'd be going through that crowd like a Polaris missile. I'd be chucking children over my shoulder in my wake.
Diving headfirst into the gravy bowl.
Sarah Davis says, this never happens when the cupboard monkeys. It does. You just can't get the staff. You can, it's just I don't want to pay the going rate. Right, anyway. It wouldn't be guestly to have a guest without guestly. I couldn't think of the right word. Hospitable.
There you go.
We get there in the end. So anyway, so what have you been doing modelling wise? It's been a while.
It has a lot of weathering. I'm now on 600 subscribers.
600.
We're getting there slowly.
It's one of those. The first 1,000 takes a while, and then it's like an exponential growth.
But I've been playing with my couplings again.
Is that what the kids are called?
It hasn't affected my eyesight just yet, though. But I've been experimenting with, as you well know, I use a lot of the magnetic couplings.
Oh yes.
I've been trying to get a remote uncoupling thing going on. And
with the magnetic coupling?
Well, not with them though, because it's never going to happen. And if it does, it's certainly beyond my ken.
Yeah.
But I have, and I don't. This isn't the real name for them, by the way. But it's called something like the Alan Rickman method of uncoupling. It's not the Alan Rickman method. Essentially, you get the Batman couplings and you solder a paper clip to the back of them, bend it into shape, put a neodymium magnet in your sleepers. And then when you back turn over it, the magnet attracts.
This is the method that there's the N gauge couplings that Peco sell a kit, and there's a PL23. If you look up what catalogue number PL23 is, it's an electromagnet that you put in the track, and it activates the lifting mechanism on the N gauge couplings. I've never been able to. Somebody said that the DMU was stopped, and it blew me out as well.
Is it playing silly buggers again?
It's struggling for grip.
That thing there.
PL. Oh no, it's not that.
Oh.
It might be a PL17. I don't know.
Oh, well, it'll be in there somewhere. But yeah, I've been messing with that, and it's worked quite well. And to my absolute sheer delight, I just got a Batman 45. Which of course.
But the all new one.
I don't think it's an all new one, but it was a DTC sound fitted one. It's one of the newer ones. It came in Batman's newer box.
Right,
and it's got a lockdown.
It doesn't have the roof fan.
It does have a roof fan, but it wasn't fitted. It had a sound speaker in there.
Oh right, yeah, because I thought the new ones they've got a.
It will never do.
I think it's the. I could be wrong, but I think it is the DMU causing the issue.
Oh, we've got to stay up, haven't we?
It's got a massive DCC concept stay alive in it. It's the biggest.
Butter. What button do I need to press, Jen?
The red flashing one.
Red flashing button. Hang on. Let's have a look. Pressing button. Not working.
Press and hold.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Well, something's happened. There we are.
So I'm going to. What could I run on that? People will start shouting suggestions, but I'm just thinking, what train shall we run on the middle one? Because, yeah,
does it not matter which train you run it then? If it's on the...
Not all of them will go round that inner one.
Mm.
So, I know. What about the new Cavalex models, BBAs? And we'll, these are in for review at the moment. Done a review, they are actually really quite good.
Very weighty. That was the first thing I noticed. They are
Yeah.
there's nothing there, but yet they are substantially.
Well, they're
heavy.
mostly metal. There's
Yeah.
very little plastic on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a pair of these on, and then I'm going to pick a class. Let's have a look. Where are we? I'm going to put on a class 3 shunter, so that'll be 3162. Yeah.
That's nice. That'll do its job.
60. Well, hopefully.
And if it starts shorting out again, then I'll have to see what else happens.
It's
Someone's got dirty wheels.
dirty wheels.
Or dirty track, because if that's had a stay alive on it.
It doesn't have a stay
No,
alive.
but the other one did, so it would have dealt with it.
Yeah. I don't think that's run in a while. So, which I'm sure somebody will keep an eye on it.
Absolutely.
But there we are. Right, so we've got a wagon. Yeah, let's see now. Is it going to make it round, or is it going to just derail and cause it short?
No beepages yet. No, so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good. So what? Right. Anyway, Belmont Junction says, I think you need to have some cold wine, Jenny, as it must be hot in the loft tonight. Now, unfortunately, I've got to go to work really early in the morning. I'm going back to the R101 hangar in Bedford.
Is that where they filmed the Moon Landing?
No, actually, but they did film... Oh... They filmed quite a few things there. I think at the second Austin Powers film, they used that as a big studio for a number of things.
Yeah, because there is a scene in that film where they're in a big, it's like a big hangar, is it? A big hangar?
Yeah, where he drives the time-travelling Beetle,
Yeah.
that's actually filmed in that hangar. But
Right.
yeah, but obviously it's not Austin Powers.
No.
But right, anyway, Peter Jackson says Class 03, great stuff. Absolutely, I do like my Class 03s, as you can probably tell by the fact that there was a quartet of them. Let's try a different angle of the dangle. Yes, there we are. And if anybody wonders, they're not Class 03s at the bottom of the screen. That's a Class 05 and a Class 07. There's actually 3 07s, but you can only see one of them.
Well, the Hellion ones.
Yeah, actually, all 4 of those are Hellion Locos. I do love my small shunters.
Well, they're quite quaint, aren't they?
2x1M train model diorama at living room asks, why not? I can hear that being naughty, so I'd love to know what the heck is doing that.
So it's just momentarily going, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, and I'm not sure which one's doing it, to be honest with you. Oh, Big Chap says Zeppelin with Michael York was filmed there as well, I think. Yeah, there's quite a few. Right. Where I've lost my place now. Ah, yeah, 2x1M train model diorama in living room says, why not add some camera wagon locomotive for cab view? We can't do that on the live stream, but we do have a camera-mounted, a wagon-mounted camera that we can get a sort of a train's eye view going round. And we do occasionally film stuff with those, but in all honesty, I just haven't had time of late. H. Walker Steam and Heritage Rail Vids says offer a GWR 14XX running on the branch line, Jenny. I don't actually have a 14XX in double O. I've got one in O gauge. I've actually got one in 5-inch gauge as well.
That's when you bought with was it Eric?
No, I bought it from Ollie at Wardle Road. He's like, oh, you've got to get into this 5-inch gauge.
Yeah, you've still got far too much money left over.
No, and then
here, spend some more.
And you know what he then did? He lasted about 6 months, and then he bought a brake van and sold all the 5-inch gauge to pay for it. So he's not
going to standard gauge now.
And it's like, what are you doing? You persuaded us into 5-inch gauge, and then you bailed on us. Oh dear.
I says to him on one of his streams, I says, I bet you won the lottery.
No.
And you're not telling anyone.
He's probably doing every hour of overtime there is. Lifestyle Unleashed, great to see you, and I hope you are well. Belmont Junction likes the collection of brake vans. Well, what's not to like, it has to be said. And they are. I love brake vans, can you tell?
It's an impressive sight, I have to say.
Yeah, there's quite a few there. Most of them never really get to see the rails. This is unusual. For a lot of those brake vans, this will be the first time they've run since the last time I ran a huge train of brake vans. I did a video. Like, is this the longest model railway train of brake vans? Yeah. And funnily enough, it was, because nobody else has done a video beating me. And I've bought a few more since then, so I might revisit at some point and just make sure that the record is pushed up a little bit.
Yeah.
Alright, Micah Pudham Junction says, evening Jennifer and Zoe and Craig, and everybody else. Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase says, those Class 25s do need a break from towing those brake vans. This is where we need that rim shot. Bit of a Mark Rogerson asks, where's the cupboard monkey tonight? She's down in the modelling dungeon with Les. We've put her down there because she's been badly behaved.
Did you hear about the miniature of the railway in Bolton Park?
In where?
The ride-on one. Was it?
What, in Mossbank Park?
Yeah, it's been destroyed.
Oh, what?
Vandals destroyed it. I'll show you.
When?
Last night, I think. Eric posted it on. Oh, good grief.
No. Oh, this.
It wasn't the DMU.
So that definitely wasn't.
The Class 3 is over yonder now, nowhere near.
I think it's one of the brake vans on this double slip.
You reckon?
I reckon. Yeah, it is. This brake van is off the track.
Ah, so that's the one that befouled us before, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. When we had the Gronk one arrive from before, it knocked a few off the track, and it seems we missed one, Jim.
Yeah,
we missed one.
And it's been...
Has that come up as well over yonder? The blue steam jobby. That looks a bit bent.
The big it's going up. It's going up the incline.
That's what it is then. Okay.
Right, let me press the magical button.
Press the button of doom.
Yeah.
And I'll try and find the
I'm shocked.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll just pull it up now. Where are we? Monday Cut. Here we are. Oh. Yeah, I'm sure it was Ham Shackleton that shared it before. Terrible.
Yeah.
It's only been open about 8 months because they rebuilt it, didn't they?
What, from the last time that...
There you go, yeah.
Ooh. Something is not happy.
What is it? Is anything currently going over a set of points?
I don't know.
We're setting it off.
What? But we're only pulling 2.3 amps.
So it's not overload protection, then, is it? No.
I don't know.
Not that big blue brake van, is it, Jim, there? That bogey one. No, that looks okay.
So we're now pulling...
GW's wobbling.
Let me have a look.
See there, look.
Yeah. It might be all the...
Will we have a wobbler? I mean, when you've got a train that's 64 brake vans long, you have to expect issues.
Yeah. Oh, it's yeah. Well spotted there. Well spotted.
Eagle eyes, you see, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a lot of derailments on my railway. My track work is shocking. So it does happen quite a lot, unfortunately. You
don't think that the track work here has anything to write home
well,
about?
well, it's I'd say you're marginally ahead of my quality. It has to be said, but yeah, this is the rather shocking news. There, look.
Oh my! Oh, look
it.
at the state.
It's absolutely horrible.
I mean, it's like they can't.
What? I pressed the article, but yeah, it was a couple of days ago.
And that's just like.
And there was that. This had happened, and then you have the Liverpool Lime Street Model Railway breaking as well, which happened. That's horrible.
So it's understood to be a group of about 10. So somebody's seen them and knows who they are.
Absolutely. Something else come off, or is it just the
it just rattles on them. They need to find these people and.
Well, like I said to Shackleton, I just don't understand what joy you could levy from doing something like that.
There's some real scumbags.
I don't understand it. It doesn't benefit anyone from doing that. It really doesn't. Especially because it was all volunteers that rebuilt it as well. Yeah. And it's not. Yes, of course, there's a financial aspect to it, but it's the time.
And it's also it's not just. So the best way to actually punish these scum is to hit the parents. It's like, what are these little scummy kids out in the early hours of the morning doing this? There should be hitting the parents hard, and if they're on benefits, it's like, no, you're not getting any.
Just knock them back.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what. Yeah, Ham Shackleton says he was looking for the article. Would it be possible for him to put a link to the article in the chat so people can have a look at it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Ham Shackleton, you should be able to, because you are one of the mods. So I'm sorry to hear that. They have been targeted in the past. I know when I was a kid, when they first built that, they had somebody nicked all the tracks.
It's a big ride on them, wasn't it?
Yeah. Somebody nicked all the rail, and they think it was people stealing it because they thought it was worth something in scrap metal, and it's just aluminium alloy. Yeah. So they reckon it was worth nothing as scrap, but somebody nicked it thinking they could make a few quid. But the damage caused just cost an absolute fortune to put right, and that's the problem.
Yeah, it's not fair. And then, of course, the Liverpool Lime Street layout was, they had their break-in, didn't they?
Absolutely, yeah, we've been posting it. We've made the stuff too hot to handle.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only worry I have with that is, does that mean they're just going to end up getting dumped in a bin somewhere? Which, you know, I'd rather scumbags made no money whatsoever from it, but it's like those models. A lot of them were built from kits. There's a lot of man hours gone into those.
It's a time, isn't it, John? You can't get the time back.
There's some real scum out there.
It's a shame.
Christian Kenny says, anyone got any news on the Curascale Deltic? Yeah, we were talking about that before. Yeah, it is.
I can't believe they sent you one early, Jen.
Well,
you've got a secret one downstairs.
The secret one? No. I haven't received one yet. There's one on its way at some point, but it's not been dispatched yet. Essentially, they are being dispatched. A lot of them are sold out to pre-order. So you're talking about a lot of models being dispatched. It's going to take a while to work through the list. I know Rails of Sheffield were saying that I think most of theirs are sold out to pre-order. It's been incredibly successful. Because you think, I mean, it's always a big worry, and I can speak from experience of commissioning items, that there is always that worry of like, what happens if nobody buys any?
Yeah, absolutely.
But certainly the Curascale Class 55 has been a great success, and I think they've pretty much done every member of the class. I could be wrong, but I have a feeling they've done every single
member. They've done the Porterbrook one, have they?
Yes.
They've done the Porterbrook one?
Yes.
That's
which
probably
is
the
Gordon
one
and
that stands out
Highlander.
the most, I would have thought, yeah, absolutely. The thing with the way that Curascale do things is they make things pre-order, which is good because, it, like you say, it means you can have really unique looking models. Like every livery for the
Well, there's
the
like,
Deltic coming on,
what,
but
22 Deltics?
that's a lot. That's a lot, and it means they can do things like that, especially if they have the what is it, expression of interest.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have. So they're not charging people for it. But if we met, well, will you buy it? You go, yes, I will, and then.
And of course, I mean, all of the Deltics you're looking at, they all were delivered in two-tone green with no yellow ends. Then they got half yellow ends. Then they got not sure whether they got full yellow ends before they went into blue, but certainly they went into pre-tops blue and then tops blue, and then you've got other embellishments like the Finsbury Park ones had the white window surrounds, and then you've got the Porterbrook one as well. So there are actually a lot of variations, and each of the Deltics you can put out in a number of different liveries.
Absolutely. I saw actually.
Interesting. Warbler Production says they're doing 22 different Deltics, though some are duplicates and not quite all class members done yet. I mean, the ones which I always have a soft spot for is 55020 Nimbus. I also Crepello and St. Paddy, because they were the Hornby 00 ones, you know, the shorty ones.
Okay, so we've got nostalgia attached to that one.
Yeah, well, Crepello was the one. I actually had two Crepellos, but I never got a St. Paddy because they were incredibly rare. There weren't many of those, which I think is D9001, which would have made it 55001.
Belmont Junction says, I'm still waiting for the Class 37. Yes, so am I, mate. I've got one on pre-order. That's well, I do like the Deltic, but I do prefer the 37. I do like a tractor. I do like.
Leslie Gilpin Rose says that aluminium track was the target. So how are kids going to be selling aluminium? Can I just say, as scrap, aluminium alloy track, which is what this would be, is as good as worthless. The stuff is worth peanuts as scrap, just quite simply.
So melted down cork cans, isn't it? Really?
It's not even. It's, you know, you're talking about something very bulky. As soon as you rip it up, you bend and twist it, so it's no good.
Can't even relay it.
Yeah, you can't relay it, so it's worthless. They've rendered it all worthless, so I find it hard to believe that they think they'd make money from selling it as scrap.
It'd be interesting to see if the police, if they bother looking, but if the police
around here are useless.
If they find it dumped anywhere.
Well, they know that with kids involved, so like somebody knows something.
Yeah, it's a shame.
So,
Going back to the Deltics, as somebody that runs mostly freight on my layout, I've very little scope for passenger workers, but I found very recently a video of a Deltic pulling some freight work. I think it was for GBRF. I'm sure it was. It might have been. Was it GBRF?
Well, back in the day,
Close?
it wasn't unheard of for them to occasionally move freight trains. Same as the A4s. There are photos of A4 Pacifics on freight terms.
On the coal.
I don't think it was on coal, but things like van trains. So it's not unheard of for these to pull freight trains.
There's a prototype for everything, I suppose.
Yeah, literally there is a prototype for everything. And yes, there are a lot of exclusive versions of the Deltics being done through Rails. Not all the versions are available direct from Accurascale. There are probably about half a dozen or so that Rails have commissioned. But I believe they've pretty much all sold out, even the special commission ones. I don't know if there was a price premium or not, but certainly they've done really, really well. And going back to my own experience, the Monday Club wagon, you'll see a little graphic of that in the top left corner of your screen. They are still available to order, but I've actually been quite humbled because this time round the new Monday Club wagons are selling quicker than the Accurascale version that we had for the first Monday Club wagon. And I'm not allowed to tell you the exact number of them, but what I will say is that there are the same number of PAL bricks as there were of the MDV. That's all I can say. So they are selling really, really quickly to pre-orders. So if you haven't already ordered your Monday Club wagon, then they are selling really quick. And if they're anything like the first Monday Club wagons, they've become really desirable.
Is it Colonel that's making this one? Who is it making this one? Albrecht.
That is KR Models.
KR Models, that's right. Are they the chaps that made the
GT3.
That's the one, thank you.
GT3.
Yes. I was going to say a big turbine one. The big gas turbine steam frame. It's not a steam
Yeah,
frame,
the GT3. It looks like a steam locomotive. I've got one up there in blue.
Oh, I can just see the
Yeah,
road,
you could just see it. Yeah, I should get
Is that the what if? The what if?
That's the what if livery. The real
like that idea.
GT.
I do like that.
Yeah, well,
Green, wasn't it?
what surprised a lot of people is the fact that for many years, people have there's been that small but loud vocal minority going poo-pooing like, oh, that's not prototypical. Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do. And actually,
I think you'll find.
Yeah, I think you'll find. Yes. Yes, in the Ian Allen ABC of 1952. And it's like the fun police, as I call them.
Absolutely.
Well,
negative vibe merchants.
Yeah, the can't do merchants. Well, KR Models put out the Rail Blue GT3, and it's done exceptionally well. So much so that they have announced what if versions of the Leader, and there's another one as well. They've done some what if liveries, and actually they're selling really well. So what it actually shows is that basically all the loud people are always going, oh, I think you'll find, oh no, that's right. And the same people who moaned about the Portergruck 55 are actually in a minority. And
they're not the ones doing the buying either. They're doing the moaning.
Yeah, they're the same sort of people who find one imaginary slight and go, oh well, I've cancelled my pre-order because that rivet's in the wrong place. I've never been so offended in all my days. Oh yes, well, this'll fail. They should have listened to me.
Oh, dear
yes.
Absolutely. Started on Waldorf for the Motor Railway World.
Yes, I spent a lifetime not rushing so I could devote more time to my clipboard.
Speaking of what ifs, there's a chap, and I'm not sure if he's on the Monday Club, but I've seen him on the Book of Face, and he does what if liveries of diesels, and he's got a couple of class 50s, as you all know, the name for which is Hoover.
Yeah.
And he's redone them in the Biffa livery.
Oh right.
And he's named one of them Henry and one of them Hetty. And so I thought he's got a Hoover in Biffa. I thought that's really clever. That was really clever.
Yeah.
I'll try and find it and share it later on, but I thought that was, and it looks factory finished.
See, I like. Actually, I just spotted a comment. Ian Coulson said maybe there isn't a plural of TARDIS as it was the only one. No, there was loads of them. The TARDIS was there.
Wasn't it knackered?
Yeah, it was. It was basically withdrawn when he nicked it. But they were the time travel vehicles for the Time Lords, and the Master has his own TARDIS. The Rani has their own TARDIS. And there's also the Meddling Monk is seen with their own TARDIS. So there's at least 4.
The Meddling Monk.
You've not seen the Time Meddler?
The only Doctor Who that was on TV when I was watching it was Per Tweets, the chap with the scarf, and that was it. They're the only 2 that I ever saw as a young man growing up. And then it was a new series with the new
Oh right. See, for me, started with Peter Davidson. I caught the end of that, and then Colin Baker, and then Sylvester.
Colin Baker, that's the one. Thank you very much, Colin Baker. That's the one. Yeah.
Although it's Tom Baker was with the
Tom Baker as well.
Scarf.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yes, Mark Rogerson, absolutely. The Time Lords all had their own TARDIS. Tim Maslin asks, hi Jenny, are you going to do a review of the Acura Scout Class 92 when it arrives in HCA wagons? I saw your review of the HAA wagons. Excuse me, sorry. Beverage of choice is a bit gassy. Absolutely, we will be looking to do some reviews on all of those, so watch this space. Oh, it's all gone a bit Doctor Who.
So was the Doctor's TARDIS the TARDIS version of an Austin Healey?
It was like the TARDIS version of a rusty Ford Cortina.
Ah, yes, knackered and clapped out.
Right, yeah, so Gamehammer Classic Gaming points out quite rightly, Time Lords weren't supposed to have a TARDIS at all. They're supposed to only use one when they're out doing something for Gallifrey. Yeah, Doctor had one because he nicked it from the maintenance
depot. The misappropriation of TARDIS eyes. TARDIS eyes.
Matt Ovell says in Hitchhikers, there was only ever one Guide Mark II, but because it could time travel, they could sell the same one millions of times over. So maybe there was only one TARDIS, just all at different times. It's a good point. All the Doctors can rock up at the same time and location. And it's but it's the same TARDIS, but it's there in multiple times.
Well, how come that didn't destroy the universe then? Are we going to go down a rabbit hole here? We are, aren't we?
Yeah, Alfonso Lapul says, now I'm picturing the Gallifreyan equivalent of the USSR making knockoff Larder TARDISes out of pig iron. Tim Mason really wants me to do a review of the Class 92. If Akira Scale send me one, I will definitely do a review of it. When I say send me one, as in send a review sample. We were talking about this earlier on about it's like I didn't just rock up out of nowhere and go gimme, and they went, oh yes, okay, there you go.
Mark Wilson says that the TARDIS was built by Grandad in his back garden. He's referring to the TV specials with them on Channel 4, isn't he?
No,
I'm sure he had his granddaughter called Susan. Was it Invasion Earth 2001 or something?
There was 2 films with
Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing
right,
as the Doctor, and they kind of run a bit roughshod over the lore, should we say? But yeah, I know. I
used to love those two.
Yeah, I just realised I haven't changed the angle of the dangle for a little while.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Charlie Chimp says a bit like Onslow's car from Keeping Up Appearances. Oh yeah, you got to love a car that's on bricks with a dog. No, I really couldn't. No,
we have a special treat this evening. I'm feeding Jenny and Zoe.
Yeah, Krispy Kremes. If I told you they got cracked cocaine in, you go, I knew it was something like that. Right. Big hello to Wiven Model Railway and Andy Brooks. We've also got UK X Greeny Richard Green. Big hello to you as well. Francis Wadsworth. We've got a really good turnout today. Yeah. So, for those of you who are wondering, this is Iron Horse Railways, which is why Iron Horse Railways is not in the chat.
I am eating a donut.
Yes, live donut eating.
Model of trains, rider of bikes, eater of donuts.
Yes.
That's my official...
I remember the first time I met you in person, you rocked up at DCC Concepts and just randomly gave me sweeties.
No, I'm a feeder.
Oh dear. But, right, anyway, yes, so we've dealt with the news, but for the new arrivals, we've had an announcement from Akira Scale, that's the big announcement for today, of the all-new Mark I Suburban coaches. This is probably the unsung hero of the Mark I building programme, and these were some quite intensive suburban services. They were non-corridor coaches, which meant that they were quite a higher capacity, but you couldn't just wander around in them, and certainly couldn't wander from coach to coach. Which presumably meant that if you managed to sneak on without a ticket...
You were stuck.
Well, no, it just meant that until you sneaked off again at the other end, there was no chance of the guard finding you.
Oh, right, yeah. So they wouldn't have a guard in every coach, would they?
No. But originally available, it's one of the earliest Bachmann models. This will be an all-new tooled model from Akira Scale to exceptionally high standard. It will also feature a lift-off roof, which will be held on by tiny little neodymium magnets, much the same way as their Metrovic Irish Railways A-Class and the forthcoming Class 55 feature for super easy DCC fitting. This means that you can add in a full complement of peopleage and take them out at will with the greatest of ease without having to...
that will be fantastic if you're operating at a model railway show. You could have a full train leave and an empty train arrive.
What, somebody with a pair of tweezers very quickly?
Quick, Alan, get the tweezers, you know. I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah. So, so really looking forward to those. We've also had an announcement from Daypol that the Class 78 XX Manners are forthcoming. I believe they're due later this month or the beginning of next month. So really looking forward to those. They were announced with great fanfare. I am aware that Akira Scale have also announced their own manor. But it is Dapol who look to be the ones who are getting it to the market first, and it'll be really interesting to see how this goes. And it will feature, it will feature the DCC socket inside the smoke box, really easy to DCC fit. And we showed pretty much the same system in the Mogul that came out a little while back. Will also feature the innovative tender to locomotive coupling mechanism that Dapol have very much made their own, which makes it really quite easy to separate and connect the pair without any of those dangly wires, which are prone to getting damaged.
I would assume the tender is the housing for the speaker. Would that be right?
I don't know, they tend to have a speaker and enclosure on the little PCB board, but I think there may be like space for a big bass,
like an earth mover or something.
the big bass bin in the back, you know, for when you're playing your techno music. It's like
boom town, absolutely.
oh yeah, the boom tish music. Melchester Model Railway asks, "Hi Jenny, what are the coach destination boards on your Pullmans?" I'll be honest, I think
Far away.
there's 3 of them, and I'm trying to remember which set I bought them in. It might be the Bournemouth Bell, but I'm not sure.
Where would it say?
You see the coach destination boards on the roof.
Oh, those.
Yeah.
Good grief.
Yes, I'm afraid
Okay,
my eyes.
now you're asking, have you got
Yeah.
the binoculars anywhere?
I don't know. Not a bad shout.
Have you got binoculars?
Not here.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
Do you know, I could have gone up there, couldn't I, and read it as it
You
comes
could
out.
have, but you
I'll
didn't.
get it on the next one round.
I'll get you next
We'll be
time.
prepared. I'll get you next time, Gadget.
Right, it says the Bournemouth Bell. I guessed correctly, so they say Bournemouth Bell. But yes, also announced as forthcoming, I think this month or maybe beginning of next month from Dapol. We've got the O-Gauge 3F Ginty is being rerun, and really looking forward to these. It's certainly a cutesy little locomotive. Has been out before. These ones reissued, new liveries and identities, so looking forward to seeing them arrive. We've also not long since had the announcement of the later roller bearing and oleo self-contained buffer version of the brake fans in O-Gauge from Dapol. Class 68 as well is also forthcoming in 00 from Dapol. So there's certainly lots and lots of stuff that is coming through. Model Railway Fantasia asks, "What's that Galaxy bloke with Jenny?" Galaxy.
Hello, Mark. Yes.
Galaxy.
Yes. Model Railway Fantasia, Mark. He's a great guy. He's actually he's a really interesting chap. He's actually, I hope you don't mind me saying this, Mark. He's actually got quite a lot. He was quite unwell, and as a result, he's actually got quite a lot of physical disabilities, and he's had a lot of amputations. So
Right.
he's essentially got a stump and a stump,
Right.
and he's built a model railway, and it looks. It's like this.
I did meet one gentleman at Worley.
I'm not sure if he did.
Might
did
be the
go
same
there,
person
but
I've met at
the
Worley.
level of modelling, what he's done is superb. Anyway, but when you consider the guy is essentially very physically disabled,
Yes, yeah.
it makes it even more so, and it makes me very aware that my modelling is actually rubbish. Because I've got my hands and it's amazing. Give Mark a check out his channel, Model Rail Fantasia. He's got some great videos on there and he does a lot of good work. So
Absolutely,
give him a
brilliant.
check. Give him a check, absolutely.
Although Belmont Junction says you can't beat a Galaxy Ripple.
Galaxy Ripple, see, they've become. See, they used to be lovely back in the day, but they're very brittle now. They used to be very, they used to be more substantial.
You saying they've changed the formula?
Quite
on the
possibly.
top? Yeah,
I
could
wouldn't
be.
know, maybe quite possibly.
Could be. Big hello to the Viking of Northgate. Big hello to you. We've got 156 Andrew in Valleys 56XX. Says, I just finished renumbering a couple of Suburbans based on a photo I have of a prairie hauling a Barry Island special. Yeah, the Mark I Suburbans did get around. Francis Wadsworth says, never beat a Cadbury's Caramel.
They've changed as well. I remember the old one. It used to be a bunny rabbit, and she was quite
Yeah.
evocative for a cartoon bunny rabbit advertising chocolate.
Yeah,
you know
she
what
was
I
a
mean?
bit. She was more Jessica Rabbit.
Jessica Rabbit than absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That brake van train still going past the camera.
it's still going. I think it's almost chasing its tail. To be absolutely fair with you, Jen. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not-
yeah.
It's, when that's the start of it, and that's
Yeah.
the end of it. So sorry.
Yeah, so no, you missed. You'll have to try harder. So here it comes. This is the other end of the brake van train.
It's an impressive length. Absolutely. So the fix of the choir boy.
More tea, Vicar. Ollie's Trains Gaming says, I have a Class 66 in NHS livery in N-Gauge, which was produced by Dapol. It's a really good train.
Absolutely.
Excellent. And one of the things actually forthcoming, we're hoping to start doing some N-Gauge reviews. One of the things that Rapido Trains very kindly asked me if I want to do a review of the Class 28 and the Conflat L in N-Gauge. So watch this space, looking forward to them. And I know a few people have asked me about doing N-Gauge reviews, so never say that I don't listen. Well, you can say that, but I won't listen. But I won't listen.
No.
But yeah, so what else have you been doing, otherwise? I noticed that you sold your signature Class 17.
I did, yeah. That actually caused a lot of problems.
Has it? Why?
I sold it on the Bay of Ease.
Right.
And I put it on as a DCC sound-fitted locomotive.
Right.
And that's exactly what I put in the description. Whatever. Sent it off to the guy. The guy received it, and he says, I don't want it because it's not got the right sound chip in it.
What?
I said, what do you mean it's not got the right sound chip on it? Did you? And he didn't even bother to message me saying what decoder's in it.
Some people are basically not that.
Absolutely. So I had to refund him, which was great because it was 3 weeks after he bought it. I'd already spent the money. I'd already bought that Bachman.
Yeah.
Cash 45. The funds
the thing
are being
is,
reappropriated.
It's like not a valid reason to reject a sale. It's like it's not sale by sample. It's not on a try before you buy. It's like it's an auction. It's a deal. It's final. And unless there's something actually wrong with it, and just because you don't like the sound file, it's not a good reason.
Evidently, eBay would disagree.
Oh, so what? Yeah,
eBay were quite adamant. So he's not seen it before he bought it, so he can reject it for any reason he sees fit, even if he just says I don't like it.
That's ridiculous.
So bear that in mind.
So have you then sold it on now, or are you still got it?
No, he said to keep it if I was to give him a partial refund.
I hope you told him to jog on.
eBay said it's either a partial refund or a full refund. So I took a partial refund. So to be fair with you, I only paid 40 quid for the model.
What, with the sound?
No, I fitted the sound as well myself. So even after that, I didn't.
And it sounds to me like he was trying it on there.
Was, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's why I don't bother selling stuff on eBay anymore. I've given up on eBay
It has
many
certainly
years
left
ago.
a bitter taste in my mouth. I'd say that much, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, there's a lot of chances on eBay, more so now than there ever used to be, especially as eBay seems to just shaft the sellers.
Yeah, there's zero protection. It's horrible, really.
Big hello to John JMC, also right on track, Ian Parker, Tim Davis. We've got a few latecomers in. Johan Swanepoel Swannies says, wow, Jen, brake vans galore. Yeah, we've got a brake van special doing the rounds.
Brake van bonanza.
Yeah, it was last week somebody was saying about, it's like, oh, I want could you run some brake vans? So, yeah, I thought I'd run a few.
Do you know what would be a really good recipe for disaster?
What, eBay?
Doing a quadruple header.
Why would that be a recipe for disaster?
Well, sorry, did I say quadruple? An octuple header. Octuple.
So that would be 8. Why would that be a disaster?
Well, because if running 3 locomotives together is tricky. How would getting 8 of them to work all well? That would be quite challenging.
You'd have to speed match them all, but yeah, no, it shouldn't be a problem. Your biggest issue will be the number of amps.
In that case, then, I extend the challenge to you, Jen.
Challenge extended. Challenge possibly accept. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It's also easy, isn't it? Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Natalie Stevens asks, "Do you have a Class 66?" I don't in my permanent fleet. It has to be said. I have reviewed the Hatton's Class 66 before now, but it was a loaner, so obviously it had to go back.
The wobbler.
Sarah Davis says, there are no latecomers to the Monday Club, Jenny. Where's Gandalf when you need him? Gandalf? Probably full of... Look at him. Look at that big portly belly.
He's got the donuts.
Yeah, he's on the donuts.
It's into the donuts.
The Monday Clubbers or donuts. Thanks, Gandalf. Sue at Pudham Junction asks, is it a bevy of brake vans? I don't know.
A bevy of brake vans.
Worthington Model Railway asks, is there a consist limit on DCC? I cheat. All 3 of those Class 25s are actually, I just reset 2 of them to the same number as the 3rd.
That's an easy way of doing it.
That's an easy way to do it. So you could have 8 locomotives that are all on the same DCC
Also
number.
3, but then you'd have to think about the direction of which they're programmed to go in, because it's not always
Well, you could always pick the one up that's being a bit naughty and turn it physically.
Why which train's going anyway? You got one pulling that way,
yeah.
one pulling this way.
So you just turn it and put turn it around. But I guess there's probably is a consist limit, but I don't know what it is.
If you named them all,
John JMC might know. He's kind of a bit of an expert. Jerry BBR suggests it's a clutch of brake vans.
Which is not a gaggle of... Oh, there you go. It's a gaggle of brake vans. I've just about said it.
Bletchton High Level, so yeah, gaggle of brake vans. I don't know what the multiple noun is. And Alan PVA J Cloth Reynolds, big hello to you. You get a name check in the video that I've been filming, actually, with the Alan Reynolds PVA J Cloth method. Warbler Production says the TARDIS is just to the left of the water tank behind the engine shed. It is as well, yeah. Johan Swanepoel Swanee says, donut matter if you're late tonight.
Wah, 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 wah.
A Monday Clubber is never late. He knows precisely what he means to.
Thanks,
Gandalf.
Sorry, Gandalf is having a sugar rush high down there. He's been scoffing Krispy Kreme.
That's why his voice sounds a bit different. Because
That's what we're having to voice him up.
Donuts.
I'm just helping him out, you know what I mean? So, Dominic Z says, I wonder why that School's Out part was cut out the audiobook version of the Kickline Christmas special back when it was released in 1995 as an audiobook. I don't know. Sometimes audiobooks get abridged for timing. One of the worst is Infinity Welcomes Careful Drivers, abridged for the 2 cassette version from the 8 cassette version. And it's actually quite shocking how much is not in there.
Winding cassettes.
Oh, God, yeah. Those of a certain age, yeah, a big biro and a cassette. You just sort of like spin it round like one of them football rattles. In fact, football rattles as well. There's something that's in the dim and distant past. They banned them because football hooligans kept smacking people in the face with them.
I'm sure they found something else to use. They're not got a little thing like something being banned stop them from a good bit of violence.
Do you want some more Coke?
I'm very fine, thank you. If I do it,
Does it? John JMC says, consist depends on the system. Power cab is 2 or 3, can't remember. I think the max I've seen is 10. Interesting. Melchester Motherrow says, haha, Jenny did an impression of the cupboard monkey doing an impression of Gandalf. Who says it's the cupboard monkey?
Not Zoe.
Yeah.
Not Zoe.
Yeah. Cameron Patterson says, good night to you all from Glasgow. Work tomorrow. You and me both. I have to get up at half midnight. Can I just half midnight, which is why bang on 9 o'clock we're having to go, and I'm afraid you're
turfed out like
see
a drunk at closing time.
Yeah.
I'll be gone.
Last orders. Mark Wilson says, no Gandalf. Ooh, it's a free for all. I'm late. Woohoo! Tim Maslin asks, how many Class 08 shunters do you have? About 15, I think. 1, 2, 3.
A Gronk contest.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
A Monday Clubber is never
7,
late, Frodo Baggins,
8.
nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Thanks, Gandalf. How are the donuts, by the way? Good?
Very nice, but not quite as good as the halfling's leaf.
If we told you the donuts had crack cocaine in, would that help you?
It would explain things.
A Worthington Model Railway says, just looked, NMRA consist limit is 127, but NCE limits it to 12. Yeah, I can imagine a consist of 127 is overkill. Belmont Junction says, Iron Horse can give a wee running session at the end. Ruben Ashwell says, no Billy's replacement Gandalf either. And Nigel Cole says, oh my god, it's like Gandalf is really in the room.
Billy's replacement wizards.
Yeah. So we haven't got Billy's replacement speakers in tonight. I wonder where he's at. Still suspicious.
It's not me. It looks even worse now because I'm here. I can't be Billy. Not that I am Billy. But you don't think I'm Billy. I'm not Billy.
Mark Wilson says, oh no, who wrote Gandalf? But,
You invoked Gandalf. You kept saying you were late, and
you did. You pushed your luck, you see, and he made an exception. He came out of his sugar coma just for you. Oh dear. Right. Yeah, Ruben Ashwell. Oh dear. Guess who just popped in briefly? Yeah. He did. Yeah, he did. Alfonso Lapulsa says Krispy Kreme is good, but a Tim Hortons just opened near me. And their donuts wipe the floor with KK.
Never heard of them.
I haven't. I know, yeah. The only other one I know is Dunkin' Donuts.
I think they're really cheap, aren't they?
I don't know.
I've never had those either.
I don't know. Simon Train's Model Railway showcases if there's a Billy's replacement Gandalf, but the replacement would disappear. Actually, no, the replacement would be slightly too loud. Warbler Production says, I've currently got my DRS Class 68 hauling a low-level nuclear waste train on my test oval. Does it glow in the dark? 6 PFAs loaded and 2 barrier PFAs.
You shall not be replaced, says Simon's Model Rail. Sure.
Dominic Z asks, Jenny can wheel, so let Chelsea Robinson say that Monday Clubber is never late. Quote as well. Certainly you can. Absolutely. And Simon Train's Mother Oshak, you shall not be replaced. Oh, Billy's replacement speaker says, did someone call?
Oh, it's not me. It's not me.
Oh, so big hello to Billy's replacement speakers.
Who is it?
I'd love to know who it really is.
I bet it's Zoe.
No, because she's sometimes up here when it happens.
Maybe she's programmed a bot.
Big chap says freshly cooked seaside dough. Oh,
no, there's a
child. Oh, that smell as you're walking down the front at Blackpool.
Sell them with pots of melted. What's it called? Chocolate spread.
Nutella.
Nutella, that's the one. There's little melted pots of Nutella to dip it in to make your fried sugar even less healthy.
Natalie Stevens says goodbye, Jenny. You take care, and don't forget that you can catch up with any part of the Monday Club that you may have missed or that you want to see again. After the stream, it just becomes an ordinary video, and you can catch up then. But look, you take care, and it's been great to have your company tonight. Wardle Road says, good evening all, can't stay long, but just thought I'd pop in to say hi to everyone. Big hello to you. And don't forget that the Billy's replacement Monday Club wagon still available to order if you haven't already ordered yours, but they are going quickly. I haven't had an update, but in the first week we sold a third.
I've got mine booked already.
Have you? What? Just the one?
Just the one.
Just the one. Yeah, some people bought 3.
Really?
Because in the backstory, there was 3 on the Billy's brick traffic.
On the backstory.
Yeah. Ian Parker says free MDF for model making and backseam boards. FB 100 plus model trains. Peter Jackson asks, have you seen the new Cavalex TE8 tankers? Apparently they have squeaky wheels. I haven't seen them running, but I would say that the factory applied weathering on the KBA barrier wagons is some of the best factory applied weathering I have ever seen. Have you seen them?
I've seen the wagons. I think it was Everard Junction did a video very recently with those on there, and it has to be said, he's got a long rake of them. And as they were going past the camera, the squeaking was very noticeable. But he did point out that it was easy to sort out because they just took the wheels off. And they've got like a little slot in the bogie, so the wheels just sort of drop out.
Right, yeah.
So you just put a tiny bit of grease in the
Yeah.
axle box and it stopped it straight away. So
Well, you see, I actually use gun oil.
gun oil, yeah.
Gun oil.
Yeah, a little tiny bottle. But
Yeah.
he did use a very small amount.
And
He
can I
didn't
say-
blather it on there.
Oh
He
yeah,
just
yeah.
did
No,
it.
you don't need much. You really don't need much. And it's one of the things actually. It's probably a good practice out of the box. Just put a wee tiny dab of oil on each of the axles, just to as routine good cuts, because it makes your trains run much more freely. Matt Ovell says, surely everyone needs at least 2 wagons, so one can be a replacement. Ooh, yes. Oh, well done. That is. Bletchton High Level says, yeah, I grabbed 3 MCWs. It's called a chuckle of wagons.
Chuckle of wagons.
Oh, do they go to me, to you, to you, to me?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I think you have to be sort of a certain age for that, but it's like Chuckle Brothers. When it was his funeral, and it was sad that
Which
we lost
one?
him.
They both died, haven't they?
Well, when the first one died, I said at the time, I said the most fitting tribute would be when they were picking up the coffin to carry it. They should have said to me, to you, to you, to me, because I think he would have appreciated it.
I think everyone would.
Maybe they did. I don't know. But big hello to Cottersmore says, I know I've not been in the chat in a while, but I'm sure Zoe had more hair. I don't know. Well, do you got plenty down here?
I'm actually doing a handstand.
Yes. Dear. Ham Shackleton suggests if you lubricate with castor oil, they will really run fast. I do love the lubricate. There's a dirty word.
Lubricate.
Lubricate.
the flange.
Yeah. Tim Maslin asks, what is the blue locomotive that's near the turntable? That's the Cali 812. In this one here, I'm assuming.
What's that, Thomas?
No, it isn't. It's a Cali 812 in original Caledonian Railways blue. So all sold out now, I'm afraid. But they were a Rails exclusive. I did a review of them, and I have to say, even though they were loaners, I liked that one so much, I just bought it. It's like, I'm not sending it back, I'm just going to buy
I
it.
must have it.
Yeah.
Put it in the vault.
Yeah, and actually on a lot of the reviews, the ones that are loaners, quite often I end up buying them because they are quite nice. John JMC asks, what did everyone do for Jubilee weekend?
I tried to make my own bunting and stuck my fingers together.
With what? Super glue?
With PVA glue. I just couldn't get it. It didn't work. I think the method was just wrong from the start. I got a little bit of thread to act as the wiring and everything else, and I got the cutting. I cut the thing out pretty well, but in the end it just looked like a garbled mess. And I wish I'd just gone and bought some to do it properly. Just save myself an hour and a half of wasted time and effort and glue.
Can I just say, do you know what I did over the Jubilee weekend?
Got drunk.
Oh no, I worked.
Oh no, I was working.
No.
Of course, absolutely.
I went to Aylesbury. I've never been to Aylesbury before. But there was a film shoot wrapping at the Crown Court right in the centre. And so I went down there with work. And it's a really nice place. If you ever get to go to Aylesbury, it's well off the beaten track. It's somewhere that for a jolly northerner, you'd never go there unless you have specific business. It's sort of halfway in between the M40 and the M1, sort of underneath Milton Keynes and across from High Wycombe.
Underneath Milton Keynes.
Yeah,
you see Milton Keynes. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's dirty.
That's how hidden it is.
Yeah, you sort of go past Bicester on the A41 and keep going. But it's a lovely place. Can I just say, anybody here from Aylesbury, I like what you've done with your town. So yeah, right, anyway, Melchester Model Railway says, the Queen visited my model railway. Ooh, was one amused. Valleys 56XX says, I sat in a garden with a crate of cider. And Tullia 10 said that some of the rails special Deltics. They've had a few cancellations, so there may actually be some that are available again. Thank you very much, Flamer Chairman 1, on message there. Absolutely. Thank you so much. John JMC says Aylesbury. I used to live there. It's quite nice actually. Richard Swiderski says nice ducks there. Yes, with some orange sauce.
Oh.
Right. Peter Jackson says, "Isn't Wardle Road from Aylesbury?" I don't know. Wardle Road. Were you from? I thought it's from Ruislip. Tullia 10 says, "Has Zoe been zapped by a Gandalf ray?" No, she's just downstairs. Probably drawing comics. Yeah, pottering. Always makes it sound like you got a potter's wheel and it's like something out of Ghost. Right, Ollie's Trains Gaming, my model railway Kingsway Central is going to Caister Show in Northern Lincolnshire in October 2022. Oh, excellent, excellent. Tim's Model Railway in different videos says, "I can't wait to get the Peco N-Gauge track starter pack from Model Shop in Surrey and some track from Happens." Cool. Peco's kind of revamping a lot of its track at the moment. We've seen a lot of the points, they're going for this Unifrog, which is actually really, really good. Have you actually had to play with Unifrog?
I've seen a lot of videos on it. Yeah, it's quite interesting because it looks almost like Electrofrog, apart from a tiny, tiny sliver of plastic just to separate the rails. So I believe it comes standard like a Insulfrog point. And then you've got to solder the wire together. And then you've got
they're like Insulfrog and Electrofrog in one go. So there's a tiny little frog that you can either leave not wired up, and it's Insulfrog. And most locomotives, if not all, will be absolutely happy with that. Or you can actually wire that up to be switched, and it's like Electrofrog, and everything is live, and it just switches the frog. But the frog is quite small. It's not like it is on an actual Electrofrog point where it's most of the point. It's just a tiny little bit. So it's an interesting and actually really good idea. And I think that it's nice in that I'm guessing that they then don't need two separate ranges. So you don't need Insulfrog and Electrofrog. It's just one point.
You would probably think that would be the goal, wouldn't it?
Ultimately, yeah. Ultimately. And also they've revamped the concrete sleeper 00 track. So SL102 has been replaced with an all-new concrete sleeper track, which has got a lot more detail. The sleepers actually, you can see the pandrol clips, and it's got Domac written on each of the sleepers. So just like the prototype. And they've also just introduced TT, a whole new revamped range for 3mm, which is an interesting development. And then on top of that, we've got the bullhead slips and crossings. The diamond crossings have turned up too. We've also had, of course, that development of the track that needs no cleaning. And you might think I'm joking, but I'm not. The DCC Concepts Legacy Bullhead track, and they also do flat bottom in code 75 and code 100. And it's cutlery grade nickel silver, which means it does not oxidize. And what it turns out, when you get dirty track, it's not dirt off the wheels and stuff. It's actually a build-up of oxide. And honestly, it surprised me as well. But you just don't need to clean the DCC Concepts track. So it's perfect for any hard-to-reach areas of your layout. Outdoor model railways in 00 is an absolute must. And also hidden fiddle yards too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're laughing.
Back corner over there, absolutely.
Luckily, locomotives don't have to go down there.
Just carry you.
And actually, I have a feeling that most of those tracks are isolated. They're completely dead, and the reason for that is if there's like a derailment, I don't get mystery shorts from down there.
Chasing your own tail on that.
Absolutely. Warbler Production says, "I got to see the Lancaster Bomber and a Spitfire fly over my flat on Friday and Saturday as part of Atherstone's Jubilee celebrations."
I do like a Lancaster.
Yeah, oh yeah. The Merlin engine though, there's something about the sound of those. They bring a tear to your eye. They're really quite moving engine sound. Incredible. Ian Parker says, I'm soldering 800 wires tonight for lights. Ooh, you're going to get yourself settled in with a nice cup of tea.
Squinting forever like this.
Oh dear.
I actually don't mind soldering wires. I find it slightly strangely therapeutic. I don't know why.
I know you mean, and I find the same with ballasting. I actually really enjoy ballasting. I know a lot of people hate ballasting.
It's a necessary evil for me, ballasting. But the wiring, I certainly agree with it. It's very, there's just something about it. Maybe it's breathing all the fumes. Might be that.
I don't know. See, I find ballasting quite therapeutic and relaxing. Soldering, I didn't used to like, but I now don't mind it since I found. And it's like, I don't want to sound like it's like on corporate message. You're not paying me anything. It's just genuinely, it's a good product. The DCC Concepts S179 solder with the no clean flux. It just transformed my soldering.
I got some of that.
So
and I bought it with my own money as well.
Well, I bought it with my own money.
No, I didn't mean you. I didn't mean you. I meant the other ones.
Yeah, what are the ones?
The naysayers.
The naysayers.
Yes.
Oh right, yeah. But I mean, so what was your truly independent experience of using it? Did you find it made for things like?
I used it to solder a stay alive to a TTS sound decoder.
Oh.
Yes.
Where do you solder it to?
Well, there's a few different ways of doing it, but essentially you get your black and your blue wire from your stay alive, and you solder the blue to the blue, and what I call the black wire to the back of the. Where the onboard chip is for the sound, there's I think 5 little tiny minuscule tabs like that little solder tabs, and you solder that one to the 3rd tab along.
Right.
And it works. I've done about 6 or so.
And it must dramatically improve.
It really does, because you don't get the sound going over dirty traffic. It's brilliant. Don't get me wrong, they're not meant to have a stay alive on there.
Right.
And it can be quite fiddly. So what I do is, rather than trying to solder the common positive, the blue wire, to the other blue wire tab, because what you then do is you end up inadvertently disconnecting the existing wire, and then so I just cut it and splice into it.
Yeah.
And that's a lot easier.
Yes.
A lot simpler. You've got to be careful, because obviously it's delicate wires and things.
Yeah.
Once that's in there,
it weighs and means.
It works brilliant. It does work really, really well.
And what capacitors do you use? Just ordinary electrolytic?
Yes, normal. I think it was. You can get them on eBay, quite cheap. The ones from DCC Concepts also work. I've used theirs before as well.
Well, they're the 2-wire.
The 2-wire ones. The 3-wire ones do work. You just get rid of the middle wire.
The control wire.
That's the one. Yeah,
with the white one?
Yeah, because some chips are designed to have a stay alive as you go along. You can choose how fast it discharges and all this lot. Obviously, you've non-lead for on a TTX, just a basic chip. So yeah, the 2-wire one works fantastically. I always say as much.
Tramfabrique also sell capacitors as well, mini and micro capacitors, specifically for stay alive purposes. So just thought I'd put that plug in.
Absolutely, but yeah. I would always say as much capacitance as you can reasonably fit in your model. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I mean, with the stay alive, there's never too much capacitors, to be honest.
I will say
if there's space for it, just put them in.
It's always good to have at least 1 or 2 locos that haven't got stay alives on them, because if you ever develop faulty track, you forever try to find out where it's faulty.
That's an interesting point. Yeah, because the stay alive one will mask it.
It's dead there. So is it there? Is it there? Is it there? I've been trying. But I only have all my locals for stay alive fitted.
Oh, you could get a track tester.
Oh, I can get a track tester. Another way of doing it. I haven't got one. Never had one. I probably should get one, really. Because you can get
LED and a resistor. So you just bridge the rails. And that gives you exactly where the problem is.
That probably worked. I didn't have one, and I spent absolutely hours. What I thought was a faulty point not working properly. It turns out it was just a little fish plate that had come off. So So what should have been a 30-second fix turned into a 4-hour debacle.
Right.
So there we are.
All these trains gaming, says Jenny. I'm going to go now as I have a GCSE non-calculator maths exam tomorrow morning. Paper 2. However, after this one, I will have 2 more left, which is 1 more GCSE English and Paper 3 Maths. Well, look, you take care and
Good luck, mate.
luck with that.
Good luck.
We all remember
Non-calculator.
exam.
I think
Non-calculator.
you'd be like to a calculator with your maths exam.
Well, yeah.
Isn't that like taking a novel that you're doing an exam on into the exam?
Well, you do in English literature. You have your novel
Really?
with all your pencil notes in.
It was just a long time ago when I was in high school.
Well, it's just see, I don't remember a non-calculator maths exam, but see, our calculators weren't all singing, all dancing back then.
They were huge. They were massive.
Well, no, they weren't massive. I've still got mine, but it was like none of this what a mobile phone will do.
My dad had a Casio watch, and it had a little calculator on it. It was that big. It was huge. 1994. It was that big.
Oh, the watch.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
they were all the rage briefly. Joe Smith asks, why are fish plates so expensive? I think, to be honest with you, because they can, more than anything.
I like the fish plates that the bullhead ones that come out.
What, from DCC Concepts?
They're really nice.
Yeah, actually, I've got a pack, but they're not here. They're down in the on the Super Project 11
okay,
is it was supposed to, and I just realised I haven't put them on. I was supposed to cut the track in 2.
Tell them, Doctor.
I was supposed to cut the track in 2 and then rejoin them using fish plates.
You've already glued it in place, haven't you?
I have, yeah. A Game Hammer Classic Gaming. No, they are not made from real fish. Ollie's Trains Gaming, you're absolutely welcome. Now you get yourself a good night's sleep. And I warn you now, because it will happen. You will dream all night that you're in the exam, and then you'll wake up and realise you still have to go in the exam. Because that's how it goes.
Alan Reynolds asks, do you know anyone of a Stay Alive that uses these for DC or analog? I don't think there is it? Because of how they work. I mean, a Stay Alive would work, but you wouldn't be able to control it. It'd just shoot off at maximum warp.
Yeah, also because it uses an electrolytic capacitor, and you can't, if you try and charge them backwards, they don't like it.
Oh.
So you'd have to have some kind of charging circuit, and some means whereby you'd have diodes.
Yeah.
You'd have to have 2 capacitors and 2 diodes in opposite directions, and you would only have it would only have a power from one of the 2 capacitors, depending on which direction you're going.
Right, yeah.
And I suspect that would they fight each other? Would the 2 capacitors end up fighting each other? I'm not sure. It's certainly very, very complicated
Absolutely.
to do a Stay Alive on DC.
Certainly
not
was,
impossible, but within the confines of a locomotive, it's just complicated.
Certainly not as straightforward as DCC would be anyway. 2 wires and you're done.
Absolutely. Alright, Lee D. Holden says, good luck, Ollie, and anyone doing GCSE over the next few weeks, including staff. Absolutely. Dominic Z, our Kickline correspondent, says,
What
Jenny.
is Kickline?
I don't know. It's
What is Kickline?
Zoe did look it up. It's a toy line of some description. I don't think we particularly got it over here. But it does appear to be quite popular. So do you like the audio book company Europa? I've never heard of them, to be honest. The only one I've ever come across is Laughing Cow, and that's going back to the 90s.
Here's an interesting thought.
Was it John JMC says, actually, Zemo Decoder can do this, not as well as DCC, but works a small amount due to lower voltage of DC. So we stand corrected.
As I read that, the thought came to me, you can get some DCC decoders will work on DC, won't they?
Yeah.
And in fact, decoders fitted with a Stay Alive.
Normally they don't. That was something with a lot of Stay Alives. It says that the Stay Alive specifically won't work when it's running on DC. But Craig Douglas says Massoff did a Stay Alive for DC. I probably mispronounced that. Massoff did a Stay Alive for DC. I had one of these, but never used it. So yeah, they do exist. But I
will probably say though, ultimately Stay Alives are a bandage, really. The harsh reality of it is there's no substitute for having good clean tracks, clean wheels, and clean contacts.
Can I say, a really good investment at the layout building stage is to just go for high nickel content track, cutlery grade, because then you don't have to clean the track and conversely that means you're not going to get a lot of these problems, and even small four-wheel locomotives on a short wheelbase are going to perform at their absolute best without even needing a stay alive. So something like the Legacy track from DCC Concept. I'm not getting paid as well. I'm doing this for free. And seriously, I had a length for a month in the garden, and I just put crocodile clips to it, and it just worked. And the Peco track I showed in the video, it was actually a piece of O-gauge track, and it was brown, absolutely brown with oxide.
It's just one less thing to worry about, and one less headache. A hobby which is potentially filled with headaches. You know.
And actually, that black dirt, when you do that, and your fingers like, oh, it's black. That dirt's not the problem. It's actually the corrosion sounds like it's gone rusty, but it's actually oxide of copper, I believe. And despite what some of the I think you'll find merchants say, oxides of copper are not conductive, therefore they act as an insulator and cause a lot of problems. Although John JMC says ESU manual states that shuts off in DC mode. Alright. Valley's 56XX says that anyone fitted to stay alive into a Ruston to save having to run the wagon with it. Yes, I have managed to do that on somebody else's, and it works like a charm. But you have to basically accept that there's going to be a stay alive in the cab.
Yeah, you're not going to get any detail on it whatsoever.
Yeah. But one good thing about the Hornby Ruston is that in the cab there's like a big opening into the cab from inside where the motor is, so you don't have to mess about with drilling holes or anything. The space is just there for putting the stay alive in. And what I would suggest is actually get yourself a two-man crew, one for each side, and glue them in either side, and they'll disguise it's what I do with the little Lancashire and Yorkshire
I actually
pugs.
did something very similar to my Class 15, which I had for a short period of time, because you could see the stay alive in the cab. So, I mean, despite the size, as you well know, the Hellion Class 15, there's not a great deal of space in there for the size of it, because most of it's just motor and chassis, which is great for it's a heavy loco. But, you know, you might do.
Alan Reynolds says, yes, I wish now I'd gone all Electro Frog point for the layout. I have to say that having come from the school of DC to the school of DCC, I recycled a lot of point work, and consequently there's a lot of Insel Frog points. And when you hear that little squawk and the occasional shorting out of the layout, that is almost always an Insel Frog point playing up. It's just decided it doesn't like a particular loco's tread of wheels, and the tyre's just a little bit wider, and it just bridges, and that's what's making the little squawk on the cutout.
What put me off was the thought of having to wire up a polarity switcher underneath.
Well, you see, if you go full DCC control, what I learned is that if you use point motors that have integrated into them the polarity switch, actually on DCC it's really simple. So for example, if you go for the slow action point motors, the DCC Concepts ones, there's you've got your power input off the bus, and because they don't care which way round they are effectively, because it's AC, there's a third terminal, and that's the wire from your Frog just goes into that, and the point motor handles everything. And then if you go for something like the ADS units, if you're using solenoid point motors, they've got the polarity switch hard on the board. So I actually found it a lot easier because it was much more disciplined going fully DCC with the point control, because you had these modules there which just had the everything for dealing with the frog changeover.
Knowing what I know now, it wouldn't be a problem. But that then I was very, very green to it all. It was quite intimidating. To be honest with you, it's quite. It
can be.
It's a lot of money, and you think, well, if I get it wrong, it is what it is. But knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have any issue with it whatsoever.
I know exactly what you mean. And when I built this, it was a bit daunting, and this idea of like doing proper full-on DCC. And going all electrofrog on the points, quite apart from the cost, it would have been like, oh, do I have to wire up all of these things?
Absolutely.
And actually, now I look at it and I think, what was I moaning about?
Absolutely, yeah, this same thing for my point.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dominic Z says Jenny Kickline is a cartoon that was made from 1991 to 1995 and was done by the Australian animation studio called Taurus Animations. It features the 4 girls that live in the Goofs nightclub. Ah, yes, you did mention before. Tulia 10 says C&L have been selling high nickel rail for some years now. Yeah, it's been out there. The DCC concept stuff is the newest on the market and certainly is really quite accessible. It's ready-made track. You don't have to put it together yourself. And it's basically, if you're used to using Peco Flexi Track, then it's just a like-for-like replacement. John JMC says Frog Juicer by Tam Valley Depot are the best way to go. I use so many of them, I wouldn't use the relay-based version by other manufacturers.
I've heard of the juices before, but I've never, again, seen them.
Yeah, I've never played with them, it has to be said. Peter Jackson says, but don't you have to remove the springs from the tie bar and Peco puts the DCC covers? Yes, you do. Any slow action point motor, so if you use a tortoise, they're exactly the same. You have to remove that spring, but it's very easy to do.
I've got the Rails Connect ones online. They work well enough for what they are.
Yeah, they're solenoid based.
It's not one, but
Yeah.
I remember I messaged you.
Yeah.
It was the very first time I'd used them, and when you turned the light, they go, oh, what's going on? So you turn it off quick and think you're in a short circuit somewhere, and you went, don't be an idiot, it's fine. This is possible.
Yeah, basically, it just does its thing to get it in sync. Alex Dent says, I'm back from the Modern Image and I wish very good luck to the friend of mine, Ollie's Trains Gaming and his GCSE exam. Absolutely, and I'm guessing he's gone to getting an early-ish night now, so probably won't see, but certainly, hopefully he'll let us know how he's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Yeah, Alan Reynolds says, I use relays for power control and isolated points, so no shorting issues. Yeah, that's one of the things actually, just to give it hints and tips. If I was building this layout now from scratch, knowing what I know now, one of the things would be that just for the ease of fault finding as much as anything, I would probably have a partially separate accessory bus. I would also physically put in the bus, a horseshoe-shaped bus, and then wire everything back to it. And I'd use quite a heavy grade copper wire for that, rather than the spider web with lots and lots of hubs and spokes.
Spider club, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you just find it's like you just run the wire to the nearest point where you know that? Yeah,
it's like you've done it yourself, absolutely.
So it's like
that'll do.
It looks like one of those. At university, they used to do a relationship diagram, and it was like a spider's web of who'd been.
I will say my wiring looks like those old crime dramas when the police are in the investigation.
Oh yeah, they've like the bits. How everything links together.
My wiring, it's like this. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's absolutely how it is underneath this. And actually, tidy wiring is probably the single biggest thing you can do from the outset to make your life easier in the future.
Mine's also I've not got a set standard for wire. Colour wires. So I've got like 3 or 4 different colour wires, and on some parts of the layout I've got a red going to one part, but on this part the red wire is actually the black. And so
did you start off with good intentions and then you ran out of a particular colour and you were too cheap to buy any more? Because that's exactly what I did.
Yes, absolutely.
You start out with good intentions, so that where you start wiring, you've got like your red and black going to like your track. And then you've got things like green for the common return for the points, and then you've got blue and brown for the solid, and then eventually you run out of one of the colours, but you've still got plenty of. Usually it's green,
or blue or whatever.
Yeah. So what you end up doing is you think, well, I've still got loads on that reel, so you start
And
using.
I have blue, and then I have blue with black stripes on it.
That
signifies the point when I ran out of the red wiring.
But yeah, Worthington Model Railway, absolutely. That's probably the one thing I would recommend to newcomers is no matter how much you think, oh, I'll just cut a corner here. Don't, because it will come back to haunt you. And fault finding on wear yard is actually my least favourite thing. Where you get a dry solder joint, because my soldering wasn't so hot at the start, and you get a dry solder joint somewhere, so you'll have a point that just doesn't flick in one direction, and you've got the devil's own job to
where
work
a good
out.
flux works well.
Yeah.
It really gets that bond on there.
Yeah, good bond.
That's a difference.
Good
really
bond.
does.
John JMC says 3 DCC buses, main track, loop track, and accessory track. Yeah, and I often poo-pooed the idea of a separate accessory bus, but actually there's a lot of reasons why it can be quite helpful. Also in terms of controlling power distribution. So I've got here, and I can't use it. This is the it's a DCC LSP from DCC Concepts. I bought this.
I was going to ask you about that.
And it's basically like a throttling thing. When you turn the layout on, this stops the spike when things charge, which then cause it to trip out.
So if you've got 10 locals with snail eyes fitted to them.
The problem is that, as you can see, my layout is regularly drawing like 2.3, 2.4. This will only handle, I think it's 2 amps before it overheats. So you could put that on your accessory bus, and it would stop all the solenoid point motor things, the CDUs, tripping it out as they charge.
You couldn't stack them, could you? No, that wouldn't work, would it?
No, I've asked them about this, but essentially I need a 5 amp one, and they don't make a 5 amp one. Peter Jackson says using DCC Concepts ESP might be a good idea. You still got to get power to the point motors. ESP is good for cutting out a lot of the control wires, good for wire-free feedback. But I do have some ESP on here, but I don't tend to use it.
You should drop us, can't you, for ESP? Rather than having a wire go into the point, you just drop it from the point, is that right?
Yeah, you basically have a control. Yeah, it's sort of the USP for that is having, you can have like a control box with all of these levers on, and it's not connected physically to your layout, and all you need is a battery in there to power it. So you can take your control box and wander around your layout with it and be right by the points and change them, and it just works perfectly every time. Valleys 56XX says DC draws much lower ampage. Am I correct in thinking?
It depends on what you're running, wouldn't it?
It does depend on what you're running. Also, what you've got to remember is, have a little think. Where is the power actually going? Well, we're drawing about, it's fluctuating between 2.3 and 2.4 amps. That's the motors. The draw on the motors on the trains, well, they're going to be drawing roughly about that if they were running on DC. Also, we've got all the CDUs on the ADS units that control the points, because I use solenoids. I've got all of the things like the ground signals, they're all pulling some power. Things like that. Now, I've just noticed that class 3. And what it is the track's gone a bit greasy there.
No, it was wheel spinning.
It still is.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh.
It's greasy track. Talk to the nice people. Don't worry, I'll get it sorted.
Well, Valleys, what you might be getting, not confused, but when you said DC draws more ampage than DCC, I think what you might mean is, with DC you control the track power and you can have a little bit of voltage or a little bit of ampage going through depending how much you've turned it, whereas with DCC it's essentially full power all the time, and the train or the locomotive just takes what it needs when it needs it.
And also the other thing as well is that ampage is everything on the layout. If you were running on DC, this place would, you're looking at, there's 7 controllers you would need. So you're basically dividing that by 7. Each controller isn't necessarily pulling a huge lot of ampage, but you'd have 7 of them.
Absolutely.
Plus you'd have your CDU feed, the 16 volt AC that's charging your CDUs. So actually, I don't think there's much difference. It's just maybe you see it more on DCC because it's all lumped together.
Yeah, absolutely. Not much in it, is there?
Yeah.
Not happy, is it?
It's got dirt on the wheels. Big hello to the Growler Blackwood Engage layout. Great to see you in. Robin Slewer says, I'm taking a break from Model Railway. John JMC says, depends on the loco, same motor draw if it's DC or DCC. You won't get the stay alive charging up, it has to be said. That's one thing that would be different.
I suppose on DCC it would draw more if you were running lights and sound. As opposed to just the local moving on.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on that. Is it going to make the gradient or? That is quite a steep gradient.
It has a little bit.
But it will shine the wheels.
There now.
Yeah.
Clean the wheels for you.
Craig's Hobbies and Trains. Big hello to you. Says, hi all, hi Jenny. Has anyone here heard of or is using the Megapoint servo motor point system? I'm not. Just give it a little wee dab, would you? I think we're going to have to change that. It's just suddenly decided to.
It's had enough on it.
Give it a prod.
I'm prodding it, Jenny. It's not.
That is being blooming annoying.
Come on. No.
This is the problem with DCC. It takes so long to get up to speed.
Yeah, it's dirt, Jen. Look.
Yeah.
The more weight I put, it's dirty. Look.
Yeah.
Shall we pull it?
So we substitute it.
Hold on, let me.
The track's clean. Look at that. There's nothing on it.
Yeah. But there'll be oxide on the. I'm going to have it on going the other way. I'm bringing it back, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the locomotive running the other way round.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Sometimes that's all you need.
We'll go in cab first, then. Fair enough.
Yeah. Because it was doing so well.
It was going well.
Yeah. Oh, shiny wheels.
So the wheels are shiny then?
They are actually, yeah. So
one of the many positive points of this hobby. Head scratching.
Yeah. Sometimes it's all you need. For if a locomotive is a bit erratic, try turning it round. And sometimes you find it runs better the other way.
It's strange.
Breezer 707, big hello to you. It says, hi all, when do you think we will see a new London, Brighton and South Coast loco? I don't know, to be honest with you. I'm honestly not aware of any in development, but I don't get told everything. So there's a lot of potential LBSC locos, all new ones. But I don't know. I suspect that when we do find out about one, it'll be fairly well advanced. That seems to be the new norm, that we don't get long lead times anymore, which I think is quite good. Big hello to Timber Surf. It's great to see you. Hope you are well. Bletchton High Level says, yes, I use Megapoints and it's great. All servos switched using 9 GM servos. 1701 The File Flyer. Good evening to you. Great to see you in. Timber Surf says, fine, thanks. Lurking as usual. Brilliant.
Not all a bit of lurking.
Yeah.
As long as it's in an appropriate location. Be careful where we lurk.
J. Paul Anderson says, no videos. Unfortunately, the Cupboard Monkey's a bit ill today, so she normally handles that. So, unfortunately not, and we will need to end at 9 because I've got to go straight to bed. John JMC says, a Curascale Mark 1. My poor wallet glad not out till next year. Although, Class 55 Deltic and the Manor won't be far behind. I believe the Curascale Manor is their next planned locomotive release. Possibly being pushed a little bit because the Daypole one is announced as being out later this month. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Curascale one, they're pulling out all the stops to get that out as quick as possible.
Healthy competition. I suppose if you're coming out after, you've got Dapol, then you've got a Curascale coming out. It might give a Curascale an opportunity, shall we say, to address any possible issues people might have with the Dapol one.
The USP on a Curascale is generally things like factory-fitted stay alive. That seems to be the thing that they're going for. Yeah. A lot of lighting functions. So I'm really interested to see what the full spec on their Manor is. Saying that, from the Daypole Manor, you can expect really, really easy DCC fitting with the pull-out daughter board in the smoke box. That also allows quite easy speaker fitting in there, and I believe they have the big bass bin in the tender, and the tender to loco connector is also pretty good. I think the Daypole locomotive will also have the firebox flicker.
That's all you can see, a firebox flicker.
And I suspect that the Acura scale one will as well. And it's what other lighting functions. I'd love to see...
A running lamp, perhaps?
Yeah, I'd love to see steam locomotives starting to come with more of the lighting functions made use of.
Yeah.
Things like lamps, tail lamps, front lamps. They're independently switchable. So one of my big bugbears is, well, like those Lemon 25s, where you've got a rear light showing in red.
Depending on the decoder you've got, you can mess with that. I know on the Locksound 5s you can tell it what to do. You just go into it and you turn it off.
Some of the newer ones, they've actually got them set up so that they use 4 different functions instead of 2.
Yeah.
So you can independently control front
That
and
is
rear
annoying.
lights.
That really is annoying. Having the tail lights on when it's pulling the train.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Absolutely. I'd actually rather that they shipped without tail lamps full stop, because actually most of the time you're never going to be running like that. Craig Douglas says, I checked the manual for Masseth's latest Stay Alive. It can be used with analog operation, but it still needs a digital decoder installed in the locomotive. Yeah, so these are all looking like you're going to need the decoder anyway to be able to control it. Worthington Mullerow says, talking of DCC fitting issues, just had a difficult time getting an 8-pin decoder in a Bachmann 4MT. Is that the 264 tank? They can be quite tricky. You've got to be very, very disciplined in terms of where you put the wires and how you mount the body back on. But yeah, I've done 3 of the Bachmann standard class 4 tank locomotives, and also at least 1, possibly. I've lost count of how many locos I got, but at least 1, possibly 2 of the Fairburn tanks as well, which are fairly similar, not the same but similar, and they are quite a tight fit. You have to be careful. I mean, if I go to camera 1, we got one here. This has got the DCC Concept 8-pin decoder in, and it's doable, but you have to be very disciplined with fitting the wires in.
A bit more consideration than others, you might say.
Yes, absolutely. Breezer 707 says, did Hornby say their new Black 5 will have working lamps as well as smoke? I couldn't tell you, actually. I can't remember. I'll have to look into that. Breezer 707 says, I'm looking forward to the Hornby 9F. That does look really nice, actually. Now, the thing about the 9F is that the Bachmann model I quite like. Are you into your steam locos?
I'm not.
You're
no,
not.
I'm a dirty diesel fan. I've not seen
Dirty
Kelly for a
diesel.
while. Kelly's not been in for a while, has she?
I've not seen her for a long,
No.
long time. I don't know. Is Kelly all right? I've not heard from her in ages. I've had got loads of steam locomotives.
And that's
on
known to appreciate them.
Yeah.
No, I'm definitely a diesel bandit, I must admit. All about the diesels.
Ah dear. Actually, I like the diesels. Actually, I have to say, I'm a big diesel fan. But I like the steam. What about an A4? Does that not do?
There's nothing from it. It
Oh.
just was like, obviously, it was like that's a slopey steam train. And that one's blue, so it's Thomas. That's a green one. That's a red one. I don't know what that is. It's a green steam. It's a green steam train.
What do you like? Just
But that is a class 25.
what are you doing up here? How have you managed to get yourself invited when you don't
Diesels. Diesel. We're all about the diesel.
I mean, I've expanded my diesel fleet quite a lot.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Do you not think that class 50s look like they're always angry?
Yeah.
Can you not see the face?
I tell you, the one that class 29s, 21s, and 22s always look like they're crying. But no, I've got the they've got the sealed. Is it the sealed beam 45?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a nice model actually. Yeah. So I've got the 45 one, and I've got the 45. I've got a 46 and a 44. And actually, there's a lot of classes of locos. Ever since I started doing the Monday Club, a lot of people saying, "Why have you not got X, Y, and Z?" And I haven't started picking up.
Yeah.
So like a 47, and I will take this opportunity to to say that I am eternally grateful to the late great Somerset Andy. Still really quite shocked when we learnt that he passed away, but incredibly generous guy. And the Class 47 that's up there, he actually just sent it to me. He's like, how can you not have a 47? No, so he sent me it, and so eternally always will be grateful.
If anyone wants to send me a 47, I would also be eternally grateful as well.
Oh, Ruben Ashwell says, I think Kelly may have been kicked out of this stream forever because of events which I shall not discuss.
Oh.
I didn't do the kicking.
I don't know if she'd been kicked out.
I didn't know.
She was quite opinionated, shall we say, with her love of steam trains, but I don't think that's the reason to kick somebody out.
Yeah,
unless,
I didn't kick her out.
No.
Yeah, but Craig Douglas says, we used to call our Class 29 sad-faced diesels. Oh, I think their nickname was actually Old Sad Eyes. Yeah. Naive Gay says, I love that now I get a Hattons YouTube ad on Jenny's live streams. Yeah, I spotted them as well. Hattons is doing a lot of advertising on YouTube in particular.
YouTube in general have gone militant with the advertising. I mean, I watched a 25-minute video earlier, and it had 16 adverts on it. Two before the video started.
Yeah.
And then about a minute in, 2 more. Same advert, by the way. Yeah. And then every 5 minutes, 2 more.
And I think somebody's manually placed a lot of those, and sometimes they take the rib. And one thing you'll notice with my videos is that we very rarely bother to put an additional ad break in. So you get a bargain.
Worth note as well, if you're a channel subscriber, you don't get ads, do you? As well, you've got the option of turning ads off for some people. I know that.
No, it's if is it YouTube Red or YouTube Plus or there's oh my word, Simon Train's Model Railway Showcase very, very generously donated £5 on Super Chat for the Locomotive X, Y and Z Fund. Oh, thank you so much. Very, very generous of you. And also I should mention that whilst the Monday Club is it's not driven by Patreon at all, and as somebody suggested that powered by Patreon, the Monday Club isn't, it's the regular videos are. I did spend the Patreon money on some really great bargains from Hereford Model Centre. I did post about that.
You did actually, absolutely.
Big tender locomotives to modern spec, DCC ready, each for less than £100. In fact, one of them £87, the other one £94. And right now, I have to say that there's a Robinson 04 in BR livery is number 63601, I think it is. They had 5 at Hereford Model Centre at £89.99, brand new. It's such an incredible price, and you'll never find them at that price again. In fact, they go second hand for more than that. They are out there.
Warbler says, apparently Kelly left when she apparently said nobody needed the Monday Club anymore. I don't remember that happening.
She wasn't too happy about having her Mondays always spent on the stream. Nobody made her. But you know, as we say, everybody is welcome, and we're here to dip in and out of.
I think there's enough exclusionary tactics within this hobby from people that insist on counting rivets, and they'll spend all day telling you what you've done wrong, but they won't point out the one thing that you did right. They won't encourage anyone. They just have to drag people down.
And it's something I know we haven't done the videos this week, but one of the big things I always say is that in everybody's modelling, you can look at it and go, I like what you've done with that. There's always good you can draw from stuff, and there's always you look at it and think, I never thought about doing that.
Spot on.
And you know, it's a broad church. But I just realised the time. We're coming up on 9 o'clock. It does creep round. But it's, unfortunately, I was in bed earlier on, so I did get a phone call actually from Keith Revel of KR Models, and he must have thought, like, what is she on? But actually, he woke me up, and he was speaking to the autopilot for a lot of the conversation. So I probably sounded like a regular space cadet. But a lot of people. Oh, so Hamshackleton says all the cameras are freeze framing and staggering. We get this later on. I think the computer starts to heat up a
warm.
bit. It's not as warm as it has been.
We've got a minute left anyway, so it's
so
probably just as well.
So just going to blast some air at the computer.
Breathe, breathe.
Big Chap says I got an N-gauge Dapol pannier train pack with 2 coaches 2 weeks back from Hereford for $69.99. Some crazy bargains on there. And absolutely, I have to say, Hereford, the risk of a particular individual. No, me ducks, oh my bargains. Mark Wilson. But Hereford Model Centre, we have worked well to actually get so much of their stock sold. But there are so many bargains there, and in this age where money is tight, the prices are going through the roof. New old stock. It is out there. I keep sharing these links with you. There's still stuff on Hereford Model Centre, and I generally only look at the 00. But yeah, like you say, N-gauge, we've barely scratched the surface on there. There is a lot to find, and it's well worth it. But we're rounding off now. It's 9 o'clock. A big thank you to Iron Horse Railways, Craig here, for joining us and keeping company here on the Monday. And it's been great to chat. It's nice to talk to a real person.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, obviously the cupboard monkey's not a real person.
You built her in a laboratory some years ago.
So what's
With
that?
spare parts. Oh, speaking of which.
Oh, somebody prodded her.
Quick, she's on to us.
Oh,
It's
no.
the Rozzers.
Say nothing. It's not what they know, it's what they can prove. But look, anyway, next week I promise we're going to Bentel. It says no, the bargains. Next week we are going to have a bumper crop of videos and stuff. Hopefully the cupboard monkey will be well. I will beat her up. Actually, no, I won't. That's a really nasty thing to say. But no, I will make sure she comes up here. I will pump her full of sugar and caffeine, and we will get things on a roll. Big hello to Tom Ailes. Says night all, great stream. Thank you very much. And it's just been great having your company. Don't forget to tickle that like button, share the stream, social media, let other people know about it, and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And a big thank you to everybody who's watched this both live, and also a lot of people watch it on catch up. It's been great to have your company. But until next week, we'll be having another Monday Club then. You all take great care of yourself. A big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you then. We've also got this week coming the TRS Trains Full Smoke Class 25, which you will like that, and it's really good. I've done a review video of that. It's coming on Wednesday, and then on Friday I show you how to make really quite cheaply and effectively your own rocks. And I know people say, "Well, I'll just go and I'll just go and get some real rocks." But no, real rocks are actually very difficult to get right.
They're not in scale either.
No.
Not wrong.
So actually, making your own plaster casting using Woodland Scenics rubber molds. The most expensive part is buying the molds, but once you've bought them, you can actually use them again and again and again. It's really great. Human City Junction, big hello to you. Great to see you in. Says, did I miss anything? No, not really. But in the news, just a quick recap. Curascale Mark 1 Suburban coaches announced. Pretty well on with that, so I don't think they're that far away. Class 55 Deltic being dispatched as we speak. Dapol have announced that the Manor, the 78 XX Manors, should be here within the next month or so. Same for the 3F Ginties in O gauge, and the Class 68s as well. And can't remember what. Oh yes, TT is back, courtesy of Peco. So a lot of good stuff.
Be interesting to see that.
It will do. I've got absolutely nothing to run on it. I don't even have any HOM, so I absolutely have nothing that will run on it. But you know, it's certainly one of the neglected scales. It has to be said, there is a loyal following. Certainly, Triang did support it in the 60s briefly with TT. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Take care. Bye for now. Oh, what button do I press?